Bam! And good morning, everybody. Let me put this thing back a little bit here. There we go. Good morning, everybody, from El Centro, California. And happy Sunday, the 29th of September, 2019. Just finished getting all cleaned up this morning, getting ready to try this crossing into Mexicali this morning. Gonna have a little bit of H2O, dry, windy, and extremely scary night last night. My scariest night ever on the road anywhere. And I've traveled over 10,000 miles, probably 12,000 miles in the last 3 months. And good morning, everybody. Patsy, Tara, good morning, Tara. Thank you for your message today. Vicky, good morning to you. Good morning, Bella Rose, the Queen of Buffalo. Nice to see you. Best to you and Brad. Hope everybody's Sunday is off to a good start. I know football's coming on. Football's on in a lot of the country. It's tough competition for the Rosie girl here. Tough competition. I'm trying to get the dust out of my eyes today. Good morning, Kim. How are you? Nice to see you. And Tara, thanks again for a wonderful time on Friday night down at the SRO Lounge there in North Park, San Diego. Wonderful time. Always good to spend time with you, and so glad to have you out and about and enjoying life. That is awesome. Well, let's get down to it. Last night we were down in Calexico near the border, which is about 11 miles south of El Centro. And good morning, Karina. Good morning, Allison. And as we were coming over, as we were coming over the passes from San Diego, good morning, Vanessa, sweetheart. As we were coming over the passes from San Diego over into the valley here, we were met on the road down, twisting and winding through the canyons with incredible winds, just winds I haven't encountered in my travels before, being out on the road and being at Johnny Watt, being out on the road before. And to be honest, following behind Marshall's rig at one point during our travels, I really thought he was going to go off the side of the road because the wind gust caught him, and that's a 9,000 pound rig fully loaded, and that thing was pitching over quite a bit. And my own van was blown hard on the road too, and I knew something was kind of up. Okay. So we proceeded down the 25-30 miles to El Centro here. And when we got out, made our way down to Calexico last night in a border town, and the winds, hey JJ, the winds were as vicious could be. Good morning, who is that? Shayna, good morning to you. I'm sorry, I don't have this thing real bright. Is that, yeah. Can't see anybody else I missed on there. Apologies to you. There was no way I was going to walk around at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night to go into a strange town, Mexicali, and when battling 40 to 50 mile an hour winds in there. It was crazy. The dust was flying here. So what we ended up doing, and I have some video I took at 2:45 in the morning. I felt like we were in the middle of a hurricane up here. I stepped out on my rig because stuff was hitting my van, flying around off the ground, scraps of wood, all kinds of things. And it was terrible. How you doing, Mouse Toes? Nice to see you. And let me see if I missed anybody else on there. I caught some video of that. And I also got some video inside so you guys could get the hearing inside of the van as all this debris and stuff was hitting the van last night. It was almost terrifying. Just the amount of debris that was being swept around and was airborne in my eyes. I got out to take some video and my eyes were, I don't know whether something hit me like a little shard of wood or something like that, or a little piece of wood hit my eye. It was pretty tough last night, and I'm really glad that we did not go into Mexico last night, okay, for sure. We ended up retreating here to El Centro in the hope that it would be less windy up here, but it was crazy. Mexicali gets lots of wind, yeah. Well, Jonan, this wind was off the chart last night, and according to the weather observation, they have a Navy post out here. It only got up to 40 miles an hour, which I don't believe in this particular area. There's no way. 40 miles an hour. This sucker was blowing like a mofo. Trucks were rocking. When we were doing the hangout last night, my van was rocking. Marshall's van was in front of me, and that thing was just swaying like crazy. My van was moving forward and backward, so it was weird. Yeah, it turned into a full-blown raging, I can't say it's a sandstorm because I'm in the middle of a very intensely agricultural area. This is really the winter vegetable basket of America down here in Yuma, El Centro. It's big time irrigated farming. And there were farmers out there on the fields with the lights on last night plowing, and then there's just these tremendous clouds of dust were coming in. When you're busting that soil, it's almost like Dust Bowl days. All that dust is being picked up by the wind, and it's being deposited all around town here. So it was quite a unique experience last night. You'll be able to hear, I recorded some video at about 3 a.m. in the morning with the wind howling, to the extent that it actually, started to destroy the antenna, the radio antenna on the car here. Started to work that loose. Now you say, how could that happen? You're driving 60, 70 miles an hour. But when you're driving 60 and 70 miles an hour into the wind, that wind is coming from one direction constantly. But this wind last night was swirling and flipping and changing directions, and it actually started to undo my antenna on the roof of the van here. So I didn't have the best sleep in the world. I really thought maybe a light pole was going to come down on me, or a tree or something like that, but it was violent. I hate to say, it's also it's windy right now. I think it's about 10 something here in the morning, and it was just brutal. A lot of tomatoes come from this area here. Let's see, valley fever is bad. I had it once on long-term antibiotics to treat it. That was the only thing I could think of. Was this must have been similar to the Dust Bowl in the 1930s in Oklahoma and in those lands there, because you were actually choking on the air last night. And they have something that's called silicosis, which is you ingest so much dirt and so much sand and blowing matter that you actually start to get lung infections, and people die of that. So you got to be very careful, I think, around this area. I'm not sure if it's windy again this morning. It's nowhere on the scale of that. I'm hoping it'll die down a little bit on that. You have severe weather. Good morning, Mike. Good morning to you. Yeah, so I imagine valley fever, cucumbers from that area. Yeah. Hey, Francis. Dirt Devils. I didn't have a lot of visibility because it was 3 o'clock in the morning. But I got to tell you guys, it was an insane night. And I thought retreating up to Mexicali, not Mexicali, but El Centro might make it a little better down here. But in fact, it did not. It made it, it was probably worse. I think we're at a slightly higher elevation. So yeah, it's still blowing up a storm out there. And then they tell me usually in the afternoon and evening it picks up, which is kind of weird. So my eyes are very, very inflamed today. I still feel like I got some sand in them and some particulate matter, but we'll see. I tried to take a shower this morning and get cleaned up as best I could here in El Centro. But I'll tell you what, you never know when you're on the road, and I guess I've been very lucky. I've dodged full days of rain. I've never had a rainy day on the road. I've had some passing rainstorms that I've been in, but I've never before, I've never had a rainy day on the road, and so far that remains intact. Yeah, we've had overnight rains, but usually they're clearing off by morning, and you have beautiful blue skies. Let's see, out this way, I think you can see, I don't know, there's nothing really to see over there. The trees are just bending down. So the plan for today is to head down. There's three different, there was some confusion last night also. Pardon me, I got dust in my throat now on top of everything else. Crazy. There's three, good morning, Unlimited. Good morning, Tim. Thank you, good to see you. Evidently there's three, Mexicali is a big city and it's fed by Calexico, and evidently there's three different border crossings down there, and there was some confusion about which one was 24 hours. It seemed like two of them closed at like 9 p.m. and one of them closed at like 2 a.m. or something. So there was a lot of confusion about which border crossing and where we should go. So we ended up just nixing that thing. Yeah, have a safe trip. Yeah, I'm glad you like that. Plastic goggles needed to. Yeah, I think so. I think I need to get some plastic goggles or something down here. I don't know how these farm people do it. I'm sure these guys, well, these days out in these big fields, these guys are in big combines out there, and they have environmentally controlled inside, so they're not getting a lot of that dust, but the dust they're kicking up is phenomenal. And it's kind of interesting to see them still going at it at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So that hail thunderstorm you and D went through, well, it counts as driving through, but that whole episode lasted I would say about 2.5 hours, and then by the time we got out of Wyoming and into Nebraska, the rain period had ended, and then that was the end of the rain for the rest of the trip, except what came down overnight in like Chicago and places like that. Fantastic picture on the Instagram. Which one? Check the government site for border hours. Yeah, I checked that, Johnny Watt. We went on Google, and it's a little hard to decipher sometimes those government sites. There's Calexico West, there's Calexico East, and then there's something called the old border or something like that. So we'll figure it out today. We'll get over there. I'm eager to see it. Yeah, that meant it missing the nightlife on Saturday night in Calexico. Well, I mean, in Mexicali, well, it is what it is. It was too, I couldn't have walked around the streets in this blowing mess last night. And if the streets were choked with dust here, you can imagine what the streets would be like in Mexicali down there. So I was like, no. So we decided to just not do that last night. So what's up, Harvey? How you doing? Hey, J Money. Which picture on the Instagram are you talking about? Francis says fantastic picture on the Instagram. Good morning, Diane. Nice to see you, honey. Greetings from just north of the border, and we're in El Centro. There's several drinking clubs with working girls in that area for Elvis. Better to be safe than sorry, Rosie. There you go. Hey, Katie. Good morning, Oda May. How are you doing, sweetheart? Drinking club. Yeah, I don't know. He likes to survey the whole thing, which I don't really care about. Like I say, there's there's a lot of interest in these places. I'm not particularly interested in girly clubs and things like that, but I do love the food scenes. I do love going around and getting the feel of the life on the streets. That to me is a blast doing that. And if I have to pop into a club and have a $1.50, $2 beer, that's fine. I mean, it's not the end of the world. We're all adults here. At my age, I feel like I can pretty much do what I want to do when I'm on the road. Ready for your nap? Yeah, I know you're an all-night chatter and stuff. The life, the life one on. Oh yeah. You know what, Francis? That is really, I think, a very special picture to me. And if you're not on my Instagram, you're missing my best photos from the road and things like that. I don't use it for social media, but in that picture, capturing that street scene of Tijuana was a phenomenal moment in time. Number one, the colors, the natural lighting on that picture. And there's so much going on in that photograph. There's such an incredible amount of stuff going on in that photograph. You have the club girl hanging out the door looking at me, and her boobs are 3/4 hanging out there. She's not showing anything, but the guy below her, a woman is giving him a light of his cigarette, which is which is interesting. The green, the lights of the neon, and then you have the other working girls standing on the street. And you have mariachi guys that are off duty now. They're done doing their playing for the night, and they're hanging around a food stand. There's a lot going on in that picture, and it's probably, and I think I've taken quite a few good pictures on there, but for me, it's become my number one picture, because I just think it captures every bit of essence, from the food to the mariachis to the working girls to the color. There's even a woman that was fighting with a woman up on the balcony and screaming up at her in that scene too. And I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, hippie, it was a wild night, a tremendous windstorm. We're still feeling the effects of it today. It's windy. I'm not sure. According to the naval observation site here, the wind topped out at 40 miles an hour. But I know there were gusts ripping through here in the mid 50s to, maybe 60 miles an hour. And we got this terrific spike about 2:30 in the morning, and I got out of my van and I did some video of it. And all night long, stuff was hitting my van. Debris, wood, parts of palm trees, all kinds of things. So it was a very wild night here, and I'm glad I did not go down to Mexicali. Women berating one man, being really cool. Yeah, I think that really is. I mean, there's a whole. I like. He'll be helping the Mexican economy. We all have. I've spent money in Mexico. I usually drop about $20 or so per trip in there, which is appreciated, and the people are very kind. But yeah, that picture, there's a lot going on. It's like something you would see pop out of a National Geographic, because they try to have street life pictures that either there's one thing going on or a lot of stuff going on there. So make sure you're following me on the Instagram so you can see some of these pictures. I did use it as a thumbnail for Street Life. I do have more videos to put up. Let's see, Dollar Tacos. It is, Cheryl. It is a boost to the economy. This isn't the United States, Cheryl. This is Mexico. It has a standard of living about 1/3 of the United States. So you may scoff at $1, but $1 in Mexico is very appreciated. Okay, even a 5 peso tip is very appreciated, which is about 25 cents or so. It's very appreciated. Okay, everything is relative in life. All right. I mean, the people would say the same thing in China when you went in and dropped $1, big deal, $1. Well, at that time, that was a tremendous boost and a real joy to people to earn that money over in that area. Let's see. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we need you. Yeah, I do. The chicas love American dinero. We're going down into, how you doing, Carlos? We're going down into Mexicali today. As I say, everything that I do or Marshall can do, it will all be framed in the light of the way you feel about Marshall or the way you feel about me. The thing I like is that people come into my chats, and for the most part, they're very objective about stuff. I'm not gonna, if somebody's dropping $1 for $1.50 for a taco in Mexico, yeah, it can be perceived as big deal, but it also can be perceived as supporting that economy and things, because the scale is so much different. And we ate, I ate more than he did that night. I had the fried chicken. I had 3 carne asada steak tacos and a al pastor taco. So I had four tacos and chicken and soda. So I dropped a bit of money down there, and I didn't even eat last night. It was too crazy, the winds. I mean, I had some pistachio nuts at about 3 o'clock at doing laundry, but I'm pretty hungry this morning. I don't think a donut's going to cut it. I'm going to go try to find like a local place to get a decent Sunday breakfast. I'm not sure where he is. He might be cleaning up. A buck's a buck's a buck. Everything's a buck. How you doing, Laura? Nice to see you. So that's the plan for today, is to go down to Mexicali. I'm hoping the winds drop back to not fierce. So Mexicali is a huge town too. It's an agricultural town, and they also will do duty-free re-imports to the United States. Yeah, plenty. They actually said Mexicali is the capital, the Chinese food capital of Mexico. In other words, the most famed Chinese restaurants in the area there of Mexicali are to be found in Mexicali. So I'm looking, maybe I'll try something like that. Yeah, there's supposed to be a huge Chinese community there. I don't know, Carlos, have you ever heard, well, I won't say that. Anyway, he doesn't contribute via the Pharmacia. Yeah, I know that stuff is cheap, that stuff, and it's, it's not him. There's hundreds of people lined up at these pharmacies taking advantage of the prices. You can't really blame them down there, If you can get things like blood pressure pills, and I know Atenolol and things like that are cheap, but some of the more fancy branded ones for 1/3 off. It's no wonder people line up to go down there. It also helps to equalize the economies. It helps to build the Mexican economy, and it's like a win-win situation. The people don't feel like they're being ripped off by the by the big pharmaceuticals in the U.S. when they can go down south of the border. Hey, Cobra John, excuse me. When they can go down south of the border and purchase, I think, what are good quality products, because if they weren't good quality products, the word would get out quickly through the internet, and that would be the end of the story down there. So I think there's more of policing and making sure that things are on the up and up there than you would think. It's not as freewheeling. Let's see, Farmacia Similares is a great place to go. I'm going in today, Charlie. I'm going in for the whole enchilada today. Yes, Charlie. Love you, honey. Good morning, Cher. Good morning to you. I bought clone fertility meds. How I got pregnant. Well, there you go, Amy. Good for you. That's how you got pregnant. That's cool, Jackie. Looking forward to seeing you in Mexico. Yeah. Would you knows about cartel on the border? I don't know how I find those kind of people. They tend to be low key. They tend to be people that are out at night in the wee hours, trafficking weapons, trafficking women, and that type of thing. So I don't really think I wouldn't even know one if I fell over him. So yeah, Elvis, good guy in a tight spot. Well, let's just say I appreciated having him on the street a few times down there. You know, he's a big presence, and they call him El Toro down there, the bull. And I wouldn't go down there alone. Nope. There's no way that I would do these border crossings and stuff by myself. It would just be too... Why was it a scary night? Because the winds were incredible here. The volume of dust and debris blowing around. I will put up a video in a bit with I got out at the van at 2:43 a.m. in the morning and shot some video. We made our way back up to El Centro thinking it would be quieter up here. Parked, and it was just raging here. So I got out and did some video, and also you can hear on the inside of the van, you can hear things hitting the van last night. So I'm lucky nothing big came along. So it was pretty scary. The Navy Center records the top gust. It records the gusts at 40, and I don't know where that is, but I can tell you there were higher gusts over here than that. And that was a very spooky night. Thankful you. I'm glad that he's there to walk the streets with me for sure. I don't always, I don't have the same enjoyment of the agenda he does. You know, a single guy has different expectations when you go into Mexico as traditionally tens of millions of Americans have when they go into places like Tijuana. But my thing at my age is to capture the street life, the food scene. I ate incredibly well. And had no fear about eating the food down there. Let's see. After a while, yeah, you would do it, so it's not really bad. I agree, Johnny Watt. I think over comfort level, you know, I have kind of a big rack, right? So it what's wrong with this stupid thing that's freezing up today? Alfalfa, wind and dust, nothing else there. Yeah, there you go, Cobra John. You know, I got kind of a big rack, so I have a lot of attention. So I did try to dress down that night and just be a little bit lower profile. And I think it paid off pretty much. I mean, you get what you give. So I've melting often. I don't know. You'll have to ask somebody else, Poppy J. You made that chicken look so good. Hey, Bully, what's going on? Hey, Heather, how are you? So, that chicken was delicious. I mean, the place looked like HELL, but I learned after 5 years in China that you never judge food by the condition of the hovel that it's being served in. There goes the ambo. This El Centro looks like it could be a pretty poppin' little town, let me tell you. Boom, boom. Let's see. Oh, thank you very much, Scottish. Nice to see you. You're traveling alone is pointless, so company is a bonus. I gave up solo travel. It's more expensive than just a tour. I agree, Madowix. To me, the fun is to be able to have somebody to converse with and talk with and argue with about things and to enlighten them among certain things and to in the case of Marshall, teach him that there's more to a society than just what you see in the fringe area, the 3 or 4 blocks of the border area. There's a whole nation behind there. And there's a whole nation of different values than you will find at border towns. And I'm not dissing border towns at all. But let's just face it, it's only good business from the Mexican side, the Mexican businessman or woman, to put those, what I call the earthly delights, as close and conveniently to the border as possible. And those people who want to get outside of that area, or the people that will explore that area, there's enough other things like shopping, street life, that they don't really care. They just avoid, they don't care about those kind of places. And that's kind of the way I am. To me, it's all about a personal relationship. I could never go into a club and just hook up with somebody randomly like that, but many people do, and that's the realities of life. But to me, there's so much more behind a nation than just the front door that you see there. It is dry as a bone here. It is dry. Thank you, Laura. Yeah, well, Mouse Toad said he's not teachable, but the more time, even the densest person over time can be taught how to hold a pencil and do certain things. And I just think it's time invested in it and seeing things, framing things in a different kind of light in the world. Yeah, I get blowback for it. But I think that people that have known me for a while, they get it. They understand that there's, I'm going to travel my own way. I'm going to have my own enjoyment. I'm not going around and sit around clubs all night and do all that kind of crap. So, let's see. Thank you, Mouse Toes. And anybody can't see the positivity that's been all this summer's been tremendously positive here. The travels have been good. The content, there's nobody else that's bringing the content on the daily right now. On the Boyd, as far as being on the road and bringing you guys so many different towns, from Reno to Salt Lake to Cheyenne to Battle Creek, Michigan to Toronto, Buffalo, Baltimore, Detroit, Chicago. And now here on this swing. I mean, I'm bringing incredible content, and I'm not going to apologize to anybody because Elvis is along, and Elvis voices his opinions about things, no matter how ridiculous they may be to the average person. It's not deterring my travel one bit here. And in fact, there's travel I wouldn't even do by myself unless I was really traveling with somebody. If nothing else, just the feeling of security of being, whether it's with Dee or whether it's with being with Marshall, it all has an advantage on the streets there. So true that. Good morning, Susan. How you doing, Ava? I haven't seen you in a minute. They blocked me because I didn't pay. You'll be unblocked, Rosary. It's all, people get so caught up in it, and to me, it's all like a high school juvenile sport or something, to be blocking and unblocking and doing that crapola. Let people have their say. But there's no doubt that it's been a more it's been a very positive summer with the travels. You know, and the older you get, time tends, I don't know if you guys agree, time tends to either cure or just eliminate. You know, the longer you live, you know, like your sexual appetite declines, and you know, your health suffers, so you have to kind of rebalance in life. Well, I can't eat like a pig anymore. You know, I'm having medical issues about that. But all those things have to come to a point where you can't tell somebody that. They have to experience them themselves. Maybe they get blood in the urine, or they're feeling dizzy from an out of control blood sugar and things. It's got to come from them. But time has a way of beating everybody into the mainstream in life. Did you actually live in Sichuan? Yeah. I spent a lot of time in Sichuan, what was traditionally known as Chongqing, which for a time was the wartime capital of China during World War II, when Chinese literally impressed, you know, pushed 1 million people into service or whatever, and carried all the factories of Nanjing and Shanghai and places all the way thousands of miles to Nanking to set up production for war. It's a fascinating place. What was called Chongqing. You have Chengdu, which is Chongqing, and then you have I can't remember the other city. Very, very fascinating place. You have the Wulong Panda Preserve, which was amazing there, to go to the place where in China where they breed the pandas and then put them out to different countries for exhibition and sharing. So I really loved that. I never got sick off of anything that I ever ate in China. So, you know, our age, we know our body. Thank you, J Money. Hey, Chronic. That's why I don't get upset when people get upset if they hear something on the chat. You know, because number one, I'm an adult. They should be adults too. And number two, you're not going to really shape anybody's future. They have to shape their own here. They have to make their own way in life. They have to get beaten down by ignored health problems and crappy lifestyles. All that stuff exacts a toll. And that's really the thing that stimulates change, not outside agents of change. So I stopped worrying about that and started living my own life. And if I'm traveling with him, that's cool. And I draw my own lines of stuff that I want to do or don't want to do. You know, he was hot to get down to Mexicali, and then I'm like, dude, look around here. We're in the middle of you know, the Wizard of Oz here, and the houses are going to start getting uprooted here soon. Oh yeah, okay, well maybe we better not go down there. Yeah, can you imagine us being blown around the streets of Mexicali last night? It would have been insane. JK, thank you. Thank you, Susan says, love your content and your attitude. Thank you so much. Hugs to you, Cheryl. So, you know, I'm very happy about the state of things. You know, you're gonna lose some subscribers, and I'm sorry to see them go. But there's some that have never been subscribed. They will never comment on a video, but all they will find to do is talk about negative things. They'll never look at the positive content. They're people that dwell in the negative. Everything is what's bad about what somebody else is doing. It's not what's good. There's no bright light. I don't live my life that way. I live my life, you know, you may call it Pollyanna or whatever, but I live my life looking for positives in life and not in negatives. And if people were really well-rounded, they would watch all the content and they wouldn't key down on just certain things that they know that they can pick up a stick and beat with. So that's why I don't give much credence to that, because there's no attempt at balance in there. Let's see what else we got. I don't know your questions. Oh, thank you, Scottish said your attitude is what brings me back constantly. Love you too, honey. I already gave my thoughts on that. I'm not going to mention that person on my channel anymore. They're insignificant in my life and always will be. It's a tortured individual, so I wish him well. Don't waste time on that nonsense on my channel. Noble Vagabond, hello to you. Yeah, the glass half full, exactly. Exactly. I've always been a glass half full person and not a glass half empty. I look at the I look at the positives of the travels that we've done this summer and the things that watching, say, Marshall up on the Erie Canal with Bella Rose and her wonderful husband Brad up there. And actually never encountering anything like a lock system of how they would raise and lower boats on the Erie Canal to make the difference in height from the Niagara River and stuff on down. So and to see him actually learning something and being interested in something besides food, and it's been and the Henry Ford Museum, and to see him light up at the Henry Ford Museum and see that there's a lot of Americana out there. There's a lot of things. So that's the positive takeaways from it. Oh, thank you, Nancy. You look beautiful. Popping in for a brief. On my way to see family. Thank you, honey. Yeah, we had a great day. And set the personal boundaries and not waver. Yeah, and don't let other people direct your life, okay? How are you, Tiff? Hey, Rosie, how are you, Tiff? Hope you're having, good. It was a little wild last night. Why did the one Missy Jenn and I picked up? I got a good offer on that. What's up, Real Stream? What's going on? How you doing, CJ? That's pretty cool stuff. I did. Nobody's brought the content like we've brought from the road this summer. Nobody. But in the chats, you will never hear in the chats that critique, which is fine. You'll never hear any positive aspects of that. The wonderful skyline of Chicago, the beautiful skyline of Toronto, the beautiful skyline of San Diego. The museums, the food, the goods in the hoods. There's so much content. There's no channel that's bringing the volume of content that's going on. So people will see what they want to see, and that's fine. That's their right to do so. And I would rather have happy subscribers than unhappy people that are constantly chipping away and telling you what you should do or who you should hang out with and all that. So being young and having a high sexual pain in the there we go, Rachel. Being young and having a high sexual drive is also a pain in the ass. I hear you. Yeah, thank you, Cheryl. So when people start commenting and having balance about that, then I'll take stuff more seriously. Thank you, Isabella. I just realized you're a man too, so that we have something in common there. Every boy and other landing on I'm not having any thoughts on that, Carlos. I could care less about that. Let's see. Not my place. No, that's what I'm saying. The place of the people. Yeah, you can't please it. The place of the people is to either watch and enjoy the content or not. It's not, I don't put it out for a vote. What should I do today? Where should I go? I'll tell people I'm thinking about doing this. What do you guys think about this? Or I'm thinking about doing that. But at the end of the day, you got to make your own decision. The people that try to tailor their channels to what the subscribers want to do end up producing mash and drivel, in my opinion. Okay, when you do what you want to do, the people will follow, and it's boring in life to be on a straight line. Sometimes things are going to zigzag, And, you're going to see things on the road that you don't like, or you're going to hear things out of Marshall's mouth that you don't like. But it's all part of the zigging and zagging down the road. Okay. So, I'm appreciative for the people that I have that enjoy the travel, but I don't take critique so seriously when there's nothing good that can be found in all the hours that I sit and edit and produce cinematic Tijuana, a day in Tijuana, or street life in Tijuana. There's never any attempt to be balanced. That's why I don't take it seriously. I don't take the critique seriously, because it's critique with an agenda. Thank you, Classic Christmas. I like that name, Classic Christmas. Thank you, CJ. I'm really honored to see you in the streams. So positivity. Boy, we sure thought you should not go to TJ. Yeah, that's right. Look at how TJ turned out. It's not egg on your face. It's your reality. It's your reality. Yes, Cheryl, but my work is not recognized in critiques of what I do and the decisions I make. That's my point. Nobody's ever going to tell me what to do on my channel. I had an unexpected car. No worries, Chronic. Keep your money, honey. Your car is more important. Put out quality content. Yeah, thank you. Going on the chooching. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to be out there chooching. So let's hope that the wind dies down a little bit today, because it might be a flying wig kind of day. There's your viral video you've all waited for, that flying wig. The flying wig, baby. Huh? I just wish you could get better signal. Yeah, I wish I could get a better signal too. Thank you, CJ. I have to tell you, CJ, you're a pretty wild guy, honestly, man. You don't mind putting your hands on the third rail of touching that third rail of YouTube, baby. Touching that third rail of YouTube. Yeah, Rumble Weaves, Goldie Khan, how you doing? Oh, thank you very much, Chronic. I don't want to see you I don't want to be in a bad situation either. So, flying away. How you doing, Tess? If you haven't subbed up, Tess cooks for you. Her Chinese cooking skills are what amazing me. Yeah, that flying wig. Thank you, Heather. You have a whole coach load behind you when shooting. That's what I'm saying, man. I love that. I travel with more people when I'm chooching than anybody else on the streets down there. I don't care about tour buses or anything. We're getting it done on the streets of Mexico. I'm not here to talk I don't talk about other people's channels. Carlos says, since you're a boy, why not speak on the awesome hooker situation? Dave, Mama, Beth, Tucker Matter, you represent boy. Carlos, let me turn that around to you and ask you, why don't you go out, since you're a boy, why don't you go out and produce content and upload some videos and share your life? I really don't, I don't really care to comment on those situations because, number one, I don't follow them. I'm on the road. Okay, I have a different agenda. My life has been beautiful since January of when I made the decision to go solo and to not be on panels and do my own thing. I think my life is richer as a result of that. Yes, I still communicate with people that I panel with, but I like to do things. I don't want to be on panel. I don't want to be sitting in chat rooms for hours. I want to be out experiencing life, you know. That's what I think. I've already communicated personally to Awesome Hooker within the last 36 hours. Why? Because I have her phone number. I've communicated and Cooper's communicated with me regularly. Why? Because we have each other's numbers. And he'll shoot me a random text. I was worried about him when the big hurricane was threatening Florida, and he was kind enough to message me about my travels. So don't assume, because I'm not hanging in side chats, that my life is somehow worse. Actually, my life is much better now. I love my friends there. I still do. And but I needed to travel. I've waited a lot of years. These years between 60 and 70 are really the years when you can do your best traveling. You have a little bit of jingle in your pocket. You still have a little bit of jingle in your physical being. Woo! And that's the fun. Get a pension at 65 and I get it at 66 and a half. Here comes the king of swing, huh? Morning, Marshall. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm looking good today. Take a look at it.
How brutal was last night that we had to come back up to El Centro to try to escape the wind and stuff like that.
So you're telling everybody where we're at again?
Yeah, I said we left
you have to tell
Calexico, where we're leaving the area today. So
how do you know?
What does it matter? You know?
Well,
I'm not coming back here. I'm going on to Yuma.
This is the problem with telling people locations. Is number one, let's face it. Rosie has never. She's not trolled on my level.
Marshall, I don't want to even talk about this morning. Okay. Mexico, El Centro is a big town.
Okay, let's talk about what's going on in the news. Let's talk about
Let's talk about the wind last night, okay?
Oh, the wind.
Let's talk about the windstorm last night, okay?
The windstorm.
I don't want to talk about Miss Aloha. I'm running my own show. You do that on your own stream.
Okay.
You block people as you want.
Oh, of course
I'm having a very happy stream.
I'm going to block the trolls.
Talking about the travels, okay? I don't really worry about.
Well, it's your show. We can talk about what you want.
I'm just saying, I'm keeping it. I'm having a good time this morning, and
if you want to talk about the wind, we'll talk about the wind. But there's a lot of stuff going on in the community.
My van was battered last night, Marshall. My antenna almost got torn off last night. Did you not hear? Did you not feel your van rocking in that wind last night?
I think the issue with the wind is
I did a video at 2:43 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
showing the wind out here where it peaked at.
Well, the problem, if you want to talk about the wind, it's your show. You can talk what you want to talk about. I'll talk about what I want to talk about on my show. But the issue with the wind and the dangers with the wind are as when you're on the highway and the wind is battering you at 40 to over 60 miles an hour, and if you're just on a straight flat highway, well, the wind could push you into the next lane. The wind could push you into the ditch, and then the worst case scenario, if you're going up or down a mountain grade, the wind can push you right off of the cliff to your death.
I was telling people you really got caught a gust coming down the mountain.
And when you have a Class B camper van that's almost over 10 feet high with a high class with a ultra high fiberglass top, that's not as aerodynamic as, say, something along the lines of a road trek, your chances of the wind tipping the rig over or tipping it over on the side or just the sheer weight of your rig with that wind coming is
I was shocked to see his van appear to be pushed sideways towards the edge of this precipice. This steep drop-off had to be a couple hundred feet down the canyon.
And if you don't slow down and brake and really slow down and have your hands on the steering wheel, when that happens, you need to slow your speed down. You need to calmly pump your brakes and take control of the steering wheel. and that will help with the wind shear, because the faster you're going, the more the wind is going to push you. That was a very dangerous situation if you want to talk about wind. Most people here that watch you, I think most people that watch us here, let's face it, they're from the southeast region. We have a lot of viewers in the Carolinas and in Florida. There's not many viewers on YouTube that are on. So a lot of these people don't understand these mountainous driving conditions, these windy driving conditions, going up and down these mountains.
I agree with that.
I've did it as a truck driver. I'm doing it now as an RVer.
Did you feel that wind when you were pulling that trailer behind you? Did you ever feel that?
Well, no. Well, now you asked me about it as a truck driver. When you have, I've been in where was it, on I-80 in Wyoming, when the wind is 60 to 70 miles an hour. Now, what the wind will do in that case, when the trailer is loaded and is so heavy, it can't budge that trailer. But the truck itself, which is fiberglass, which is not really that heavy, the only weight in the truck is the engine and transmission. But you can literally feel the cab of your truck being shifted, like Rosie is saying, from side to side.
Wow.
And I talked to my trainer about it, and I said, look, this rig is being shifted to the left and to the right. And he said, well, it's just your fiberglass cab. Really, it's not going to move 80,000 pounds of a trailer loaded with freight.
I never thought of that.
And I've been through that as a truck driver on I-80, in a blizzard with wind coming off the mountain and blowing at me from the south. I'm going this way. I'm going straight due east and blowing at me from the south, and pushing my rig from south to north sideways. And so that's the bottom line. So as a truck driver, no, it's actually you're safer in a truck because of the weight that's on the trailer. So it won't budge the truck. But a lot of people don't know that I know that because I was a commercial truck driver. How did you feel when that gust caught you on that? What do you feel like behind the wheel of your? It just felt like how I felt like in a truck. The only difference is in a truck it'll just sway you. In a Class B camper van, it'll literally push you into the other lane because you just don't have enough weight that's bearing down. Now, if I had a loaded trailer with a lot of weight, it might be a different story. It actually might be safer. The more weight you have, the safer you are. So that's just the way that is. It was it was spooky last night, to the extent that the noise was there was so much crap hitting my. Now let me ask you this: how was the wind pushing you? Did you feel it was pushing you into the? Which way was it pushing you? Because I'm very light. Well, which way was it pushing you? To me, it felt like it was sweeping up the hill and kind of pushing me to the left into the mountain. That's what I felt. Into the mountainside. That's what I felt. And then on your recovery, it looked like you went over and skirted the yellow line in a recovery mode, kind of skirted. I thought, oh man, I hope he's not going over the, No, actually, the wind pushed me from the south to the north. We were going due east. It was the same situation, and the wind pushed me. It was coming from the south, and it pushed me into the north, where it was the mountain on. The worst case scenario would be to push you to the south and off the cliff. But a lot of people don't understand these driving conditions. I didn't understand them. I was born and raised in Arkansas and Chicago, where I was used to flat driving. When I got as a truck driver out here, going up and down these mountains and these curves in the wind, I started to learn that this is some very, and I couldn't do that. And handle a semi, no way. One thing with Rosie is she's a lousy driver. Let's look. I'm not trying to put you down, but I'm trying to tell you the facts. Rosie, we were in Michigan, and you're turning in this small 12-foot van that you have here, whatever it is, 12, 13 feet, and you're turning in a Burger King parking lot, and you hit a curb where, if I didn't stop you, you would have took out the whole underside of the rig on the passenger side, but I stopped you with the front tire. Now let's put this into perspective, right? I admit I'm a bad night driver. If you're turning in a truck like that and making the right turn like Rosie was doing, and you're not paying attention to what you're doing, you know what's going to happen? You're going to make the turn with the cab, but the back trailer of your truck, if you're making a right turn on the passenger side, you're going to take out light poles, you're going to take out the curb, you're going to take out who knows what else on that side, because you're talking about a 53-foot trailer.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
And so, I don't know what Rosie's issue is, if she has a vision problem or what her
bad night vision. Plus, we were coming in; it was rainy. There was steam on my windshield.
And I
we
see
had we had that fool that was following us, and we didn't know what we were trying to avoid. Ditch him.
Yeah.
You know?
Another thing is, when I see Rosie changing lanes, and I have to tell you that when you're changing these lanes, you're changing it way too close to the vehicle behind you. You need to give some space when you're changing. I don't know if she has a vision problem or what the deal is, but you need to have at least a car length away. And she changes at a half a car length away, and that's too close to change lanes.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Would I be scared if Rosie was my truck driving partner in the nighttime? Yes. Would I be okay if she's going in a straight line in the daytime?
Yeah.
Fine, but in the nighttime.
Marshall's like zero confidence in me driving.
I think Rosie would be better just as a diesel mechanic at the.
Well, that's why I follow you on the road and don't lead, because I there's not enough light on the road for me. So.
Another thing is that I don't think Rosie understands what it's like to drive 11, 12 hours a day after day.
No, I couldn't.
And put 550 to 600 miles a day.
I couldn't do that.
It's physically rigorous, and if you never did it, like I said, you can't talk about it. You got to walk a mile in my shoes, and I did it, and I hated it. I despise it. I'm not proud that I did it. I think being a truck driver, having a CDL, the only way to do it is if you're owner operator and you can run your own loads and not have to answer to some prick dispatcher behind the office. There's nothing wrong with the job, but it's the way they treat.
Hey, D-Dub, how you doing?
It's the way they treat the people. Good morning, D-Dub. It's the way they treat the people. That's what's wrong with the truck driving industry.
I'm a very good long haul driver. I'll say that. I can rack 1,200 miles in a day and not.
Well, it's one thing driving a little van like this, but you try driving a truck in mountain grades. It's a whole different ballgame.
No, I wouldn't do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be a trucker. Okay, I want to be a little squirt in a little van flying around the country and having a good time. Are you excited about Mexicali?
I'm excited about Mexicali, that we're getting our day started off early, because this is a huge city, and I try to explain to Rosie, this is not Los Algodones where you park and walk in, and this is the real deal. This is a major Mexican city with almost 1 million people. It's really large. It's really spread out. There's different districts. There's different areas. There's 4 or 5 ports of entry, and this is not something that you're going to learn in a half an hour. Okay, this is a big city here, and this is something that's going to take time to learn.
I was driving 8 years before Marshall was born. Yes, and I've never had a big accident. I've had little fender chooch and stuff like. D, I hope you're having a good time down there. Nice to see you. Don't like the job, however, then you're fine. I don't know. What's up, Metallic? How you doing? Nice to see you, honey. You're gonna be some. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that. We're gonna, I think, get our day started.
I think you said you wanted to get breakfast.
I haven't
right?
eaten anything. Yes.
I forced myself to eat some junk food last night, and it was terrible.
I couldn't do it.
It was just terrible. It was just terrible what I ate. I went to Rallies, which is like Checkers. The worst. It was disgusting. Everything there was disgusting. It was the worst food that you could eat, and that was really bad. It was really bad.
Yeah, I had those buns that I bought from a couple of those buns and a coffee and then some pistachio, and I was just didn't feel like getting blown around by the wind to drive around last night.
Well, with Rosie's whatever she wants to call it, her diet or eating, I disagree with it. Waking up and drinking a coffee and having a donut and literally starving yourself until dinner That's not healthy. It doesn't give your body the fuel that you need to be up and about if you want to be active, if you want to go explore a city. You're not getting your protein, you're not getting your essential nutrients that you need for the day. I'm not a big eater of breakfast, but I am a big eater of lunch, and that's not the way to run a diet. You need fuel, and anybody knows, any bodybuilder that goes up and works out, these guys are eating raw eggs, they're eating a steak, they're eating egg whites. I feel like having a nice big omelet or an egg white omelet. Your body needs those nutrients. You need the fuel to keep on going. And a coffee and a coffee and a donut is not going to give you that fuel that you need for the day. Your first meal of the day is important.
All right, well, let's go get a big breakfast then. How about that?
We're going to have a big breakfast. And let me tell you something. It's not going to be pancakes. There's going to be some quality protein. A nice omelet with veggies, maybe some ham in there, just a nice omelet, man, and a nice OJ and a nice coffee. But Rosie, like I said,
well, it's Sunday.
I need to put her in the gym with Janet. I need to take her to Chicago and really have Janet put her through the rigorous routine and get her some protein and get some, what Rosie needs?
What?
And I was just saying this, Rosie. You know what? Jory mentioned this to me over the phone. And I wanted to bring this up to you. He said, look. He said, Rosie's the third gender. Yeah, I said, yeah, she's transgendered. He said, well, Rosie was talking about MGTOW last night, and he said, Rosie doesn't know anything about MGTOW. He says, Rosie said that, MGTOW is for men who have failed relationships. And actually, that's not necessarily true.
Well, everyone I've ever seen that's been a MGTOW professor is born of bitterness of a bad relationship.
That's actually not true. MGTOW actually...
I spoke up for WGTOW, women going their own way, which was pretty cool.
MGTOW is just a movement to protect men. They encourage men to date women and to be with women, but not to share title and share your living premises with a woman. Now, I wanted to ask Rosie this question, just because there's a lot of women that watch
Rosie.
Rosie.
Rory, we agree to disagree.
Look, there's a lot of women that watch Rosie. There's a lot of transgender people and crossdressers that watch Rosie. Everybody knows that. Now, Rosie, the reality is, was born a man, lived her life as a man, and then transitioned into being transgender. For whatever reason that is, which that's a whole different subject. But now I want to ask you a question, and this is just reality. Do you see yourself now as a transgender that there are a lot of aspects about you that living as a man? In other words, are there characteristics about you that even though you're transgender,
of course,
that would be a man's life?
That's why I consider myself both, because I'm not giving up the male things. They're too much of a part of my life.
So exactly, like the radio,
the female, the building, the projects,
how handy Rosie is.
I'm not giving that up.
The carpentry projects on her house. The fixing the radios, fixing things, the outdoor stuff.
That's why I don't blend so well with the traditional trans community, precisely because I don't ape the model of
the girly girl.
Exactly. I don't do that because I can't live that. I don't live that life. Okay. So the reality is that you don't fit the stereotype of a transgender. That's right.
So, and the bottom line is that. So, what would you consider? I know legally that you're considered a woman, but what do you consider yourself? In other words, we know transgender female is a title that's out there in the world of the mainstream, but you personally,
I don't.
As Rosie O'Kelly, what do you consider yourself?
I don't label myself.
Right.
I just live my life, and others label it. So the best thing I could determine is third gender, enjoying all the male attributes and things that I enjoy doing in life, and then packaged in a.
Do you say that you?
Because that's what I like to see.
Do you say that you live your life as? I mean, we know you're transgender, but do you do more things in your life that are male related as opposed to female related?
Absolutely. absolutely. You know.
I mean, like you
Yeah.
say, a lot, and you can listen
This
them
is
down
the
a
way I
list.
relate to people and things. It's like a guy talking, you know, and all that.
So Rosie reminds me of Narcy said that you're a trans lesbian. In other words, you prefer women. We all know that you prefer women, and you're attracted to women more. But you do the things. You remind me of if you were a genetic woman, if you were born a woman. You would be one of those women that would be hanging with the guys at the pool hall, or being at the mechanic shop and getting your hands
There
dirty,
you go.
or doing the things that guys do.
Yep.
You would be one of the boys. In
That's
other
right.
words, if you want to say tomboy, butch,
That's right. There's not-
dominant.
That's correct.
Yeah. So
Perfectly correct.
So a lot of people out there that watch you
That's
that are
why, you know, I'm not deep into the trans
Into the whole-
trans issues
exactly.
because I feel like a square peg in a round hole.
you live your
sometimes.
more life as a heterosexual.
Exactly.
And actually
Exactly.
Rosie lives her life more. She goes to heterosexual clubs. She does more heterosexual things.
Yeah, well, that's according to you, Kit and Kat, the PhD of nothing. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead. I want to get some. I'm starving. I haven't eaten since really breakfast yesterday, so I am hungry. Yes, the packaging is wonderful. I know life is good. Hey, we're all confused on the bottom. That's why we end up on the bottom of YouTube, huh?
I want to just say this lastly here, especially about a place like Tijuana and YouTube. I just want to say this lastly. It's just something that's in my mind here real quick. You know, when I started YouTube, I didn't know how...
Kit and Kat, don't get triggered, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, look, listen, Kit and Kat and everybody else. When I started YouTube, it was an experiment, a social experiment. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Oh, country, I don't even... This is the first time this guy's ever shot. I don't just allow people to come in for a ridiculous troll. Go ahead,
I just want to say this, and this is what's on my mind this is what's on my mind for everybody. When I started
Wrap
YouTube...
it up, I'm starving.
All right, sir. Life is like a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get. And it starts from YouTube and everybody else. And that's what I want to leave you guys with today. Woo!
All right, guys, take it easy. I hope I get some signal in Mexicali. If not, I'll have also plenty of video content too. Thank you very much, everybody. Woo!